Thank you all for coming. We're really excited to continue a series of events that we have planned with the Millan Foundation. Since its inception in April of this year, we really have this heart and this mission to help other nonprofits. It's a big part of our mission and our vision. Not only Leo and Lily's heart, is to help others, but it's also to help grow others and help see them flourish and succeed in whatever they have going on. And that's a big passion of ours, is getting off the sidelines and jumping in, right? Each of you have your own different passions, your own different outlets of things that make you who you are, right? And we know that there are struggles and things that are challenges that you may or may not have the resources for. Some of that's financial, that happens too. That's definitely a part of it, being a nonprofit. Some of it's just learning how to best do something and clear obstacles. So the Millan Foundation, with Tanya running this, that's who's been in communication with you, has spent a lot of time and effort and continue to do that, of how we can bring you the resources that you need to be successful, to reach the audiences that you're trying to reach, to raise the funds you're trying to raise, and to accomplish the mission that you're trying to accomplish. So with that being said, I'd like to first thank Leo and Lily Millan and their efforts and support of the Millan Foundation, of what you see today. You're in the beautiful Jude room, again, sponsored by Millan Enterprises. This is one of our spaces here at Millan Enterprises. So our mission is, the heart of our mission is to create a legacy of impact through our love for Christ. We unite with good people and great organizations to broaden and strengthen their footprint. It really encompasses kind of what I said, is like our heart is to help others and help them be successful. We can't do it all. We don't want to do it all. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already invented, and we're here to just make it better. In our vision, we aspire to remove the obstacles that our partnering organizations face so that they can thrive and accomplish their mission to their fullest potential. So with that being said, I would like to invite Mary Phil and Ralph Illges up. They're with Emmanuel Haiti. They're one of our partner organizations. If you have not heard the podcast with them, I encourage you to do so. They have an amazing organization, do a lot of amazing work, not only in Haiti, really. Y'all have kind of done some stuff here just in your communities, and I would say is a highly successful a showcase of how you can be highly successful in areas that are so challenging. In a place like Haiti, where there is nothing, there are no resources, where the government can be an issue, the international borders are an issue, everything that can be an issue is an issue there. And so it's a great example, a great showcase, a great time where y'all can maybe share some of that. I think you're going to share some of that. And then I believe there may be some time for some questions as well, where we'd love for y'all to ask questions of how they're doing it. The audience that they reach is far away, but the people they deal with that help support them are in our backyard, and located in Springfield, Tennessee. And that's kind of where Emmanuel Haiti kind of got started and flourished.
Cross Plains, Tennessee. It's even smaller than Springfield. Yeah.
That's right. So if a little community like that can do the outreach that they're doing, I'm so excited to see what they can share with you that hopefully you can do as well. So I'll turn it over to y'all.
I think I'm supposed to use this one. Hi there. How are y'all? I was speaking with some of y'all earlier, and I went over and looked at everybody's website. Can you hear okay?
I think you should be able to use just your...
Just this?
That
one's from...
Okay. Sorry.
So tell
I
me,
heard an echo. Sorry.
I heard an echo too. Does that work? Tell me where you want it. We're going to lose it. Let's try it. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
perfect.
That's fine.
Awesome. I was looking through your websites and your Facebook pages just to see the people that had signed up to come, and I think, wow, how many diverse nonprofits there are just sitting here in this room. From cleaning houses of people that are going through cancer treatment to equine therapy to Guatemala, and love it. And I was thinking about it. It feels a little bit ludicrous that we're up here talking, because I think we can all learn from each other. And I know that when we started, I picked the brain of so many people. I have a little clicker here. Briefly, I'm just going to tell you how we got started. In 2013, I went on a mission trip with my son, who was graduating from high school, to Haiti. One-time thing, never thought I'd go back. 𝗀𝗁𝗀𝗀, who works for Millan, talked me into it. And we were going through some struggles in our family, and I thought, yeah, I'd love to get the heck out of Dodge. So we went, while I was there, there was a heat wave. I didn't know it at the time. It was like 130 degrees heat index or whatever. And I was sitting in a room and they sat and did VBS all day. And I think I have ADD because it just like, I was just going, and had all these little kids on me. And I looked down and one of them had little scabs on her ear and there were bugs crawling in another one. And it was so hot and I was feeling nauseous. And I thought, I'm glad it changed Carol's life. I just got to make it till Friday. That is literally what I thought. But while we were there, let's see what we got here. While we were there, we went to a place where they were going to build a church, and it was an abandoned nightclub. And there were 50 orphan kids there with a pastor and his wife who were taking care of them. And we met these kids. And they were sweet and special. And this little girl on the end, it turned out, was burning up with fever. And we thought, oh, well, that's the reason we went there, that we happened to go by there, because Carol's trip that she had gone on didn't go there. And it was like, this little girl needed a doctor. 2 days later, we found out that the Haitian government had given them 30 days to vacate the premises because they were squatting. They'd been squatting for 10 years. And the kids would either be on the street. There's a system in Haiti called 𝗙𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗍, which is a child slave. And it's where if you can't feed your child, you would give them to a neighbor or a family member, and in return for doing household chores, they could live there and eat. And usually we see 𝗙𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗍 all the time. And usually they have crummy clothes, and the other kids might be going to school. They don't go to school. They might sleep on the floor on cardboard, and they're out sweeping in the yard. So we just thought, oh my gosh, we've got to do something about this. So we came back, we prayed about it, came back to Tennessee, and we ended up having a gift given, $50,000, given anonymously to the glory of God within 2 days of coming back. So it was kind of like, oh, wow, didn't expect that, you know. And with that, we realized that's great. You can build a building, but the kids have to eat. They have to have water. They have to have clothing. So we got a nonprofit, even though we didn't intend to. And we went to our little church, which is Mount Carmel Baptist Church in Cross Plains, Tennessee, and just put it up there on the screen and said, here are these kids. We can build them a house. We can build them a home, but we can't feed them. So we ended up getting sponsors, which he'll tell about in a minute, for all these kids. And we built these 2 little pink buildings, and that's what it looked like. And with that, it was kind of like, well, here we go. We have no idea what to do. So I picked brains of people that did similar things. And now we have, that's the children's village, the children's home now. We have a school with 650 kids. We have medical clinic, transition homes for kids that age out of orphanages, because UNICEF says that within 3 years, a child that ages out of an orphanage without a transition experience, 70% of them are on the streets or dead within 3 years. So this, we have a boys and girls, and we teach them skills to go out and be independent. And this is a widow village that, that's part of it. And we initially started doing housing for these widows who were working widows. Most of them sold something out of a big basket on top of their head, but they lived in little shacks that were just, that got wet every time it rained. They're made out of metal. And then they ended up adopting girls from another orphanage that was in the process of closing, and the kids didn't have anywhere to go. So it gives those girls a forever home. So it ended up being a double ministry, which we didn't even realize at the time. And there's some of our widows that live there. And we have built about 25 churches. That's one of our teams visiting a church that we had built. And Ralph and Carol started a ministry called 2911 Jeremy, because we go to Jeremy, Haiti, and Jeremy is Jeremiah in Haitian Creole. Jeremiah 2911, I have a hope and a future. And so that's our bakery and sewing business. And let's see what's next. Oops, we're going to stop. Can we pause? Hold on. I'll go back. Go back. There we go. So when people say, wow, y'all done a lot, like you must have had some real vision. And I go, we had zero vision, none. In fact, quite a few things were done even when we went, oh, this is too much. We want to be good stewards. We don't want to, here's another need, and we can't take on another need. We need to take care of this need. And then God just kept providing. And really, I can't say that it was vision at all. What we were thinking about when we were talking with y'all is looking back on 10 years of ministry, what have we learned? What do we think is important? What has worked for us? And, you know, I know that you all could teach one of the exact same things on some of yours. Part of what we want to do is all of us are excited about what we do. You've got this cause and it grips your heart and you want to do something about it. And our goal is to make other people feel the same way about that cause. Get them to join us, make it contagious. So one of the things that we felt was important was volunteers and donations. Both of those were questions that y'all asked. Volunteers are at the core of what we do, and make it easy for someone to volunteer. Have something for anybody. The first trip that we took to Haiti with our group from Mount Carmel had people from that were born in 7 different decades. I think we went from 14 to 75 or something like that. And there was something for everybody. Let's see what I got next. So what we have next, I think, is a video that is some of the older ladies that went. One of these, I think she got pregnant at 14, married at 15, divorced at 16, and worked her whole life, and hadn't retired yet, but decided she wanted to go to Haiti, completely out of her comfort zone. All 3 of these ladies, one at age 75 said, I want to go. And I kind of went, well, you might want to go in the winter because it's really hot. She said, no, I'm going in June. And we did this video of these 3 ladies who were the least likely people to go on a mission trip. And we've done a few little videos with different people, and so we put them on our YouTube channel, and a couple of them have gotten a couple thousand views or whatever. This one went viral with these little ladies, and so we thought we'd share that, which is your volunteers. There's nobody too old. There's nobody too young. You're not going for the big hitter who can give the big money. You just want people whose hearts are going to give. Are going to beat for what your heart beats for. So I think that's what we have next is this video.
When I first saw them run into the bus like their grandparents had come to visit, it was just something that was so unexpected. And they were just, like you said, just loving and beautiful and smiling and happy. And instead of going there and blessing them, they blessed my life for the rest of my life.
Well, it changed my life. I have never been out of the country like that. But God led me there. It's just like, it wasn't by accident. None of us went. We went because God touched our hearts. And I'll never regret it going. And I've been 8 times in the last 10 years. And if He sends me 8 more times, I'm ready to go.
It's amazing how strong their faith is. And with their worship services are so amazing. And they worship for hours and in the heat. And but that's just amazing how dedicated they are to the praise of God.
It was wonderful to me to see how they are so full of joy and peace and just happy, even with all of the chaos. And they were just so happy, and it was like each day was going to take care of itself. They knew that God was there with them, and it's like no matter what you did, how little or how much, it didn't really matter. The fact that you were there seemed to be all they cared about.
When we do go in July and in December, we have one birthday party and then a Christmas party to celebrate with the kids. And all the sponsors send money, and the adults go shopping and get whatever they need for them and stuff. But it's just the smile and the joy on their faces is just overwhelming, because they're going to bed that night with a full stomach. And not just ours, you know, they also feed the community and stuff, and that is priceless. They are our family. So we have our family here, but we have our Haitian family, and we all have children and that we sponsor and love, and it's just great. God is good.
Amen.
I think it's important to Mary Phil's point of these three ladies winding up in Haiti is quite remarkable if you know them like we've known them. But and she said, you know, they went to Haiti, our son and Mary Phil and another lady from our church, and they came back and all they did is tell the story. The pastor gave them one Sunday. They put all these pictures up there. They're so emotional about talking about these kids, and the service ended and they've got 60 sponsors, or 55 or whatever the number was, in this little bitty church to give between $25 and $50 a month to take care of these kids. And so, oh wow, it's contagious. You tell the story and all of a sudden you've got volunteers. Then we took a trip with people from the church. 19 people go down there. 19 people go and experience some of this. They come home, they tell 19 of their friends, and all of a sudden you got almost 400 people who heard the story. And some percentage of them go, I want to go do that. And then they go on the next trip. And then the next one hears the story about this child or this miracle or whatever they saw. And that's, in my world, it's called exponential. I guess in this world, it's viral. And it's spread. And it's just so, you tell your story, and with us, it was get people involved. And the way you get people involved is either through giving, getting a picture of a child at their Christmas or their birthday party, or going down there and touching, feeling, hugging, tasting it yourself. And the rest just takes care of itself. So
we had the advantage of having a church. And I don't know, you know, if you can take some of your nonprofits to your church. We had that ready-made audience. It's a little church. It's not a huge church, but they heard the stories and their heart was touched and they wanted to do something. We had, when we first signed up for sponsors, we had somebody that came in and she had sponsored somebody and she said, my husband and I were talking about it and he gives batting lessons for baseball. And we think that if he does more lessons, if you need it, we could sponsor another child. And that's how it was. It was like, you know, we had enough at that time, but they were willing to try to figure out the way to do another one because they were so touched. We build houses for families. But when it comes down to it, it's about relationship and getting those volunteers. This was after we hadn't been able to go because of COVID and unrest. And the reunions were just amazing. And whether it's a mission trip to somewhere else or getting somebody to come assist with what you do, whatever it is you do, if you can ignite that fire within them and then they take it. And we have people that have gone to us from Haiti from probably like 12 states, but it was, my sister lives in North Carolina and she's a pharmacist and wants to go on this trip. And, you know, I have a friend and it was just kind of viral. You're never too young. And one thing that's kind of surprised us, we've had a lot of young people go on our trips. This trip we had, we were doing vacation Bible school every day and we had school teachers doing it and Sunday school teachers. And these two 15-year-old girls said, we want to do it one of the days. And so we kind of went like, okay, all right, we all do it. And we kind of thought, I hope this goes okay. Well, they said, we're going to wash feet. And it was one of the most moving things I've ever done. And to watch what some young people, if you can get young people involved in what you do, teenagers, they have great ideas. They look at things differently.
And their friends will then want to be involved.
Right. And it's like, you're never too young. You're never too old. Have something for everybody to do. Anybody that shows an interest, figure out something for them to do. We had this picture in the middle is Margot Fosnes. She's the head of the industrial board in Robertson County. She just retired. And her husband went on medical trips because he was a doctor. And she said, that's great. That's his thing. I got nothing to give to Haiti. I don't want to sit around with kids all day. I don't have anything to give. Well, this is her on a trip. And what we found out is she was really good at organizing a medical clinic, a skill she didn't know she had, but figure out something. If you've got somebody that's interested in what you're doing, figure out something for them to do. When we first came up with the idea for a Christmas catalog. We're going to back it up. Go ahead, Ralph. You can talk about giving.
Yeah. A lot of the questions that you all had posted, that you wanted to talk about was fundraising. And, how do you raise money? I struggle with this, which you're not alone. Everybody struggles with that. And, I think that to the extent that you can make giving easy, you can make giving in very small bites possible. And you can make giving in very large bites possible also. And I think when you look at some of the pictures that we've posted with the huge school and the medical clinic, and we didn't know any of that stuff was going to happen. If you had told us that, we said, where in the world are we going to get the money to do that? You got to be kidding. And because we didn't know and we had no idea, but the idea was create opportunities to give, create very easy ways to give. And we're going to run a video in a minute on the Christmas catalog, which is something obviously we do at Christmas every year. And the Christmas catalog has an opportunity to give, depending on the year, sometimes as little as $10. You can give a gift that's meaningful to someone in Haiti. And I think this year it's up to 25 or 30,000. What's the biggest? Mm-hmm. Yeah, $30,000. You can build a good-sized church in Haiti. But I think the first year we did it, we raised $5,000 in the Christmas catalog. Boy, that helped a ton. $5,000 goes a long way in a place like Haiti. Last year it was $340,000. So you just don't know. And the $10 gifts and the volunteers, you tell the story, I can't do much, but I can give $20 a month. I can't do much, but I can buy a goat and give to a family for Christmas to help feed them. To one lady sold her interest in a thoroughbred racehorse, and she writes a check for $100,000 to rebuild a church that's been destroyed by, what was that, Matthew?
Hurricane Matthew.
Hurricane Matthew. So you just never know. You never know. But again, the internet, social media, websites, all of that makes it much, much easier. And she does a really, really good job of communicating, which we'll talk about a little bit, but with donors. But everybody stays in touch, and she touches people through social media, electronically, usually. Just update, this is what's going on. And people walk away from that going, yes, I know my money's on the ground. Yes, I know my money's working. Yes, that's my child, or that's my goat. It's not, but they think it is, and it's, but it's a goat. That goat is down. And in the next year, the Christmas catalog comes, I'm going to give 3 times as much, or whatever the number is. So that's how you do it. And you start small, you pray about it, you take your hands off of it, and then that's what happens. So
this is the video for this year's Christmas catalog, and we now have an online catalog we started a couple of years ago. I didn't know how to do any of that, and I sat there and I would Google how to do a website, whatever, and got on there. And it was amazing because it makes it very easy for somebody to go, okay, I want to give an unpoppable soccer ball for $20, and we do little cards so somebody can give it in somebody's honor. And click. They can do it with their credit card, and it takes 2 seconds, and it's easy to do. We also send out a physical catalog. A lot of people would prefer to, look at it and send it. And so that's just been a thing that has worked for us. All we did was copy World Vision and Samaritan's Purse and all those people that do the same thing. So this is the video for this year's catalog. When we first came up with the idea for a Christmas catalog, we thought, well, it would be a cool thing for somebody to be able to give a goat or a chicken or a sewing machine. We had no idea that it would become what it has today. All those goats and chickens and sheep that we've given have allowed so many families to provide for themselves. We have fed children up in the mountains in schools where the poverty is just staggering. We have provided clean water medicine, solar power. We've built so many homes and churches, sent kids to Cuba to medical school. I could just go on and on. Our catalog is 𝗙𝗿𝗶𝗴𝗶𝗴𝗀.com, and our online shop, there's so many unique ways that you can change lives. We have 12 gifts that are under $100, so it's a great way for a child to be introduced to the idea that you can change a life. Last year we had a 10-year-old who decided to sell hot apple cider and try to raise money for a church. And by the time she was done, she had raised $28,000 and money for enough to build 4 churches. You could give a loan to a widow to start a business, a banana tree, an incubator for a chicken business, nutrition for malnourished babies, homes for refugees, solar audio Bibles, new shoes, fresh bread, so much more. There's so many ways that you can make a difference. One of the most impactful things that we do through the catalog is called School for a Year. There's no free education in Haiti, so we thought it would be a great idea to give school to some child that would not otherwise be able to do that. So for your gift of $250, it pays for the child's tuition, it pays for a uniform, and it pays for a warm meal every day. And we were just excited to be able to do this, and when we met the moms, they said, "Thank you for letting us keep our children." And we were like, what? We knew that we were given an education, but it never occurred to us that it was anything else, anything more. And what they were telling us is that because of that warm meal every day, they don't have to take them to an orphanage. They don't have to make them be a 𝗨𝗪𝗶𝗴𝗶, which is a child slave. So we found out that it did so much more, and what a gift that is. Jesus said in Matthew 35:25, "For I was hungry and you fed me, I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you cared for me. I was in prison and you visited me." Then the righteous ones replied, "Lord, when did we feed you?" And he said, "I tell you the truth, when you did it to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did it for me." So we invite you to visit 𝗙𝗿𝗶𝗴𝗶𝗴𝗀.com and see how you can make a difference for one of the least of these this year at Christmas. One other thing on giving is figure out what sets you apart. Why should somebody give to you, to your organization? We kind of have gone with, because 100% of every gift that is given to Emmanuel Haiti goes straight to Haiti, because we have a church that covers all of our overhead, that does our printing, our websites. So we're very fortunate with that. So that's one of the ways we can say 100% of your gift goes to Haiti. And the next thing that we were saying that we wanted to share that has been the most important thing for us with donors is communication. So that even if it's, let's see what we got next. Even if it's an email blast, a newsletter, social media has worked for us. Facebook works for us. Let's see. There we go. Oh, this is back. Papa Noel. You're probably looking at this and going, what in the world? This is kind of back to people that don't think that they have something to give. This is a guy named 𝗀𝗁𝗏 who goes to our church, and he's a farmer, and he thought he wanted to go down and help with agriculture, but he went, and the suggestion that he gave them for their peppers, for bugs on their peppers, killed the entire pepper crop. So he decided maybe that wasn't where he was called. But he was down there, and he dresses up as Santa Claus, and somebody down there said something about Santa Claus doesn't come to Haiti because we're bad. And he said, I want to do that. And I was like, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. That is a terrible idea. And I was like, don't even. I said, taking the white Santa Claus to Haiti, and I mean, it's just like materialistic. I just thought it was the worst idea I'd ever heard. So, of course, he asks our Haitian partner, and he goes, that is a wonderful idea. You know, I was like, oh, okay. So he went down there in the fursuit, and they come to the churches, and the kids, the kids, the adults, and they go berserk to see Santa Claus because they've never seen him. He's Papa Noel there. I can't even describe it. We had one where hundreds came over this cliff, and we were just like, oh my gosh, we're about to be trampled. And we've had that. You can tell it's just they come from everywhere because it's so exciting. But he said, God showed me that he can even use old, fat, and ugly. So there you go. There we go. Communication. One of the things that happened is we used to send a lot of teams. Well, then we had COVID. Then we had unrest in Haiti, and we haven't been since July of 2022. So we had to regroup and figure out how are we going to communicate what we're doing. We have Haitian partners. They're doing everything on the ground. Our visits were almost like just to go down there and see what they're doing and see our family. Like she said, it's like the grandparents showing up. So this guy was the cousin of one of the pastors, and he used to always show up at our birthday parties, and we always kind of laugh like, here's a present for Carrie, you know. Well, he said, I'm a photographer. And I kind of went, oh, sure you are. That's right. Well, he is, and he's a great photographer. And right at the beginning of COVID, he became our photographer on the ground, and I pay him $100 a month. And he goes and
But
shares.
interestingly, his photographic equipment, he would be like, hey, in lieu of paying me for the
Right.
next 2 months, or 3 months, if y'all are coming, can you bring me the following pieces of equipment? I can't get them here in Haiti. He knew, and she could order them off Amazon, put them in the suitcase, bring them down there, and he takes that and then he turns it into stuff that we couldn't begin to deliver. So,
And you don't underestimate the value of a good photo. Now, some of these are blown up. They don't look great on this big screen, but the value of sending somebody that sponsors a child an excellent photo of their child. And a lot of times I text just because it's easier for me to just text it all to, like, when all of a sudden I'll get all these pictures and we'll be sitting there watching a football game and I just text the sponsors their pictures. But Carrie has been invaluable because these are the community kids who were not going to school, had nothing, and he takes these gorgeous pictures of them. And before and after photos. I used to get photos and I think, that's not a very good photo. And that child is not looking very happy. And that's, or healthy. And I've learned the value of sending someone, you're sponsoring this child or you're sending this child to school. Here's what that child looks like. And then when you can send that and say, this is what your $250 did. And we're so grateful to Millan because one of the things that they share with partners is $250 a year sends a child to school. And there's a picture of what that gift does. And you can look at that face and you can see what your gift does. These are things that we did for sponsors, all the kids, a handprint, anything that we could do to connect donors with whoever it is that they are sponsoring or helping out with. It's the relationship. We send pictures. So we haven't been able to get them there. We sent cards and photos last December, and they went on a plane to Miami, another plane to Port-au-Prince, motorcycles and buses out to Jeremy, and they got there finally, these cards. So to look and see what it means, and it keeps that connection, those photos. That's our cover girl this year for our Christmas catalog. So communication, whether it's an email newsletter blast, it's a Facebook, Instagram. We just started doing YouTube and it's kind of blown up, because we did these little videos. We found this videographer who was homeschooled and just graduated from high school and has done these incredible videos for us for not very much. And so it's been able to reach, here they do y'all do just such amazing work with that, but we found ways to do it for not a whole lot of money. Communication is that. The next thing that we were going to talk about, go ahead.
One thing on communication in giving. I mean, we talked about make giving easy. And short of the very first time when we came back and Maryfield put the pictures of these kids, said, we need sponsors for every one of these 55 children. We have a specific need. Will you consider doing it? Boom. Answered, done. We've never specifically asked for money ever since, ever. And if we have a big need, Hurricane Matthew came through, it leveled almost everything that we had built. That's a big need. We put pictures out there, we took teams down there, we sifted through the rubble, we did all of that stuff, and we just prayed about it. Literally, that's all we did. It's the board of the Emmanuel Haiti board, we meet, we pray about it, go, this is a need. And you turn around and it's like, what do you know? There's the money. And it comes from like racehorses, most unlikely places. We bought a daggum radio station in Haiti. That was a big need, a big number, but the thing reaches 12 million people. And it's 24-hour a day Christian format radio. And that doesn't exist in Haiti. And the gangs can control the roads, the unrest in Port-au-Prince can disrupt. They don't control the airwaves. And there's a way around it, I guess I'd say. So go.
Looking at our time. The other thing that we were talking about that has really been an earmark of our 10 years is be ready to adapt and change. If what you're doing, you might think, this is it, and then something comes along. We collected things to take. We would take suitcases of shoes and soap and shampoo and everything because people love donating and giving. And we have one woman loves to buy underwear. And so we would take all this to Haiti. Well, what we realized then is that we were putting somebody in the marketplace out of business. When we brought 3 suitcases of Crocs, whoever sold shoes in the marketplace couldn't feed their family for a month. So we had to completely shift gears. We had this huge closet filled with stuff. We loved taking it. But we began to shop local. And so we give gifts, but the way that we do that now is we shop local. That was a change. The Christmas catalog has helped with that because it is a visible picture of what you're giving. And then we buy it there in Haiti. Refugee children. We recently there's a lot of unrest in Port-au-Prince, which is the capital of Haiti. It has run people out to all the other parts of Haiti because the gangs just go in and shoot up and destroy entire villages. So all of a sudden last year, we started getting this huge influx of people that are in great need. They have nowhere to live. And they bring, these were all refugee children that got school for a year this year. This family came and brought this little boy and said, we want to give you our oldest child because we want him to be able to eat. And we have come and we have nothing. And so what we were able to do is find them a place to live and get him into school so that he gets that warm meal every day, and it allowed that family to stay together. But when we first heard about all these refugees, they were like, how many can we take? And it was like, oh gosh, we don't know. And so I asked my board, and it was like, do we want to limit it to what we have now? Do we want to cap it? Or do we want to just say, whoever comes? And used to, we would have really thought about capping it or knowing what we would be able, and we've kind of learned God provides, and we go, bring them on. And so far, we've been able to cover the cost of all of them. All right, you want to talk about school?
Yeah, the school is a great example. We started the school because the kids needed education, and the school was going great guns. And I remember we were on a trip, and Mary Fawn and another woman who's been there on a lot of trips, we sat down, and the pastor was like, he's so excited, and he said, we have an opportunity to grow this school. We have 250 students, and we have students up in the mountains, and we now have a school bus. And we can go up in the mountains and pick them up and bring them, we can educate them, we can feed them, they can have a warm meal every day. And we were like, whoa, tap the brakes. Are you serious? We don't have the resources. We barely got the resources to pay for the school. And he was like, no, it will be okay. Or he pretended like he heard us.
And we said, under no circumstances grow this school.
Yeah, do not grow it. And the next thing we know, he's got 500. And then the next thing we know,
there's our school. Yeah.
There's 650 kids showing up for this school, and the money's there, and the resources are there. And so we've learned to adapt on. We've learned to trust God, I think, more than anything else, to go, if he's in this, nothing's going to stop it. And it will grow, and it will happen, and it will be there. And there's living proof of it. We get this picture almost every morning. I mean, they line up for school, they sing the national anthem. They pray and they walk in school, and they're clean. They got matching uniforms on. It's remarkable.
And which comes to our very last point, which is, over it all, I don't think we understood this at the beginning, prayer and trusting God with what He has given us the opportunity to do. That used to, I was hesitant to go, look at all we've done, because I thought it sounded like we were bragging or something. But then I read something from a pastor in Africa, a missionary, and he had gone down there, and he said they had like 3,000 came to Christ in one night. But he was like, I just feel like it would be kind of just bragging if I said it. And they're like, you didn't do it. Look what God has done. And over and over and over, we can say, it's very easy to say that. We had no vision. We can look at it and we can say, we got a front row seat at what God is doing. And what a blessing and what a gift it is. And our volunteers believe that. Like he said, we just put out, if there's a need, we say, everybody pray. And the woman that gave the $100,000, we'd never met her. We'd never heard of her. She lived in Kentucky. And she and her husband felt like God was saying, you need to take this and build this church in Haiti that they'd heard about from some people. And you can't explain that other than to say it was answered prayer. So for us, I would say, and you can finish this up, but I've learned that. I didn't have that at the beginning. I've learned to trust him with the resources, with the needs, really with all of it.
Yeah, so I guess if I was going to, we've talked a lot, and we could, questions and answers, we want those. Please ask. And if you don't want to ask now, we'll have, I think, an opportunity in a minute where we can do it just mingling around. But, the takeaways from this thing are keep it simple. Figure out a way to make giving and volunteering for your organization simple and available so it works for just about anybody who wants to do it. And then once you have figured that out, you just tell your story over and over and over in as many mediums as you possibly can think of. And give those volunteers an opportunity to get their hands dirty. Give them an opportunity to join in somehow. And if maybe when they come and they do the medical equipment for the people who are disabled and don't have access to the wheelchairs and things that they need, or the cleaning the houses for the cancer patients. I went and did that. That was so cool. It was one of the greatest things I've ever done. Let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you what I got an opportunity to do. And do that, you communicate that, you cover it all with prayer, and you just get out of the way and don't try to overmanage it. It'll work itself out. So.
There you go. Questions?
Questions, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so being in the league, how difficult was it to work with the government there to get all of these things in place? 'Cause I don't think
We don't work with the government there. Right. The government is, when you say government, the president was assassinated a couple of years ago, and then they didn't even have anybody in charge. Oddly enough, the IBSRs, like Child Protective Surgery Services, they do operate, and we do work with them. Our partners on the ground do work with them. And at some point we had, it's just the way of doing business in Haiti is not exactly the same as it is here. We ended up, 2 girls that were at our transition home were going to school, and there was a wreck, and they were killed. And as horrible as that was, what it did was then called in to check, the government came to check on everything. And oddly enough, they came in, and because we had a playground, and we're the only playground in all of Jérémie, Haiti, they went, oh, well, you're fine. So it's not logical, if that makes sense. But otherwise, we have to take things through customs. Medicine is one thing that there are forms, and you have to fill it out. But if I'm honest, we take medicine in cereal boxes and cracker boxes just to get it on through, and you have $50 ready to give them in case they stop you. So, I'll go ahead and confess that they're going to come in and cuff me.
I would
We're
say
smugglers.
I would say that doing anything in Haiti, and again, we have started businesses down there to try to provide jobs for these kids when they age out. It's a little bit like the Wild West was here. There's no government speak. There's no regulation. You want to start a bakery? Start a bakery. Nobody, health inspector is going to come in there and go, ooh, the temperature of your dough is too warm. Do it. And an environment where if you're willing to take some risks and risk starting a business and having cash in a till where somebody can walk in the door and go, give me all your money, and no policeman to stop them, as an example, shoot, sky's the limit down there. It's not like here. Yes, sir.
I like the idea that it's buy locally, but my big issue with that is while folks will donate stuff, too many folks will not give money.
I know, agreed. It's easier to get people to give things. part of it is we quit going. We couldn't take things.
See, I'm shipping in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And to ship to Jamaica, it costs me between $2,600 and $2,800, and I go there 3 times a year. I could use that money to buy stuff in Jamaica, but
It's harder to get money. Agreed. Agreed.
We donate stuff.
Agreed.
Right now, pocket, and I got more stuff than I can ship.
Right. And that's what we had, a huge room full of stuff. I can only say for us that we knew some of those people in the marketplace, and it worked. This Christmas catalog, for some reason, worked for us because like this year you can give 2 pair of shoes and we buy the shoes in the marketplace because for one, we can't go. And you can ship to Haiti, but right now the gangs come in and control the customs where the shipments come in. You're not even guaranteed it's going to get there. Then you got to pay to get it all the way out because we're way out on the tip. So it's different getting it to Jamaica. You can get it there. You can get it to those people. We couldn't even do that. We had to take it ourselves.
The thing about Jamaica too is I know that I'm gonna lose some of my shipment. They're gonna steal some.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's gonna happen. But the area I go to is one of the most dangerous areas. And the gang leader in the area said, Pastor, you and your people are safe. Nobody here will touch your people. We love what you're doing for our community because we can. So the criminals look out for us more than the police will.
Yeah. We found that too, is that when we could get Feed My Starving Children does these huge containers of fortified rice and people pack them, and then so we could get a container and the gangs would let ours through because that very same reason, because they knew our local pastors. So I'm not saying you can't take stuff. Of course you can. And look at what a difference it makes. But it just kind of for us, because we couldn't get shipments there very easily, we couldn't go anymore. And because we knew a lot of those people, we started trying to transition, and it worked for us.
We also have done 5K races. We don't do one every year. We do it every 2 or 3 years, as it turns out. We picked the summertime to do a 5K race. It'd be 95 degrees. Well, the reason is nobody else is having 5Ks in the middle of the summer. So, wow, this is unique. I'm a marathon runner. I'll go run in a 5K.
Yeah, runners show up.
But
that was her idea.
It was an opportunity for people to come together and do it a few times, and all of a sudden, oh, that's the Haiti 5K. Yeah, I want to go do it. I want to take my grandkids to it. That is so much fun. They do this and they do that, and they have a live auction, and or a silent auction. You can bid on things to go, and I know my money's going to a good cause. And we don't make nearly as much money on it as we do the Christmas catalog, but it's an event, and don't discount the importance of an event when it comes to creating awareness of your organization. And it doesn't have to be a golf tournament or a 5K or whatever it is, but something that gives them an opportunity to identify who you are.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for having this, because I do community outreach in this county, and I do look for pretty much a living for work and personal. That's my passion. And then this morning I was driving to work because sometimes my heart is just bigger than me. And I just prayed and I said, God, give me a sign if I should just keep going, because my passion was reentry, and I want to have transitional housing for men, because I see the need when I go to Loaves and Fishes and Bennett Cafe in my heart. I don't have the funds, and I have all the resources and I have all the knowledge to get somewhere where they need to be to become self-sufficient. And I just said, just give me a sign if I should just keep going.
Boom.
So, this is, there you go. Yeah.
There you go. I got chills. I don't know about you, but here's your sign. Yeah.
This is Leo and Lily, and this is Millan, and this is part of their commitment to this community, which is we want to help others do. And this is, they put this on, and they're nice enough to do this, but to say, here's a forum where if you're interested in learning, here's a forum where if you're interested in learning how other people done it, where they made their mistakes, come do it. And we're happy to help. And so this will ripple. I think that's the idea, is that it ripples, and this changes this community.
And you think about what you want to do. If you start small, whatever it is, and you get other people interested, and it's like we started so small, but it just it's contagious. And you're contagious just talking.
Yeah, you are. You are.
How many years did you say it took
from like the first time you went until now to really get this going?
It's been 10 years since our church took the first team, but it's been 2 years since we've been able to go. But
all of that was built by 2016.
Not all of it. And then,
well, virtually all of it.
And then when the hurricane destroyed it all, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no insurance in Haiti. We had such a hard time raising this much. How are we ever going to replace it? And then we did. And God told people in Kentucky to give money from a horse. I mean,
Can you touch on the relationship part more? Because I think sometimes that's lost in nonprofits. And that's why we decided to host these, because people think you can send an email and ask for money and then checks are going to start to pour in. And obviously you guys can imagine how many emails Tanya gets. But relationships are super key, and buy-in, et cetera, because just getting the word out is just not enough, in my opinion.
Right, and you're not necessarily just going for those big ticket donors. These three ladies, they've gotten their families involved. One of them's son-in-law then came, and you don't know the connections. But it's the relationship with your donors. It's the relationship with the people that you're helping and connecting those two. If they have a relationship with who they're helping, you're not going to even have to ask them for money. They're going to want to do that. If you continue to show the difference that they made in a life, and it's like probably the best thing that I do for sponsors and stuff is text them pictures. Like I get pictures a lot, and I'll go, oh, that's so-and-so's child. And I know who sponsors who, and I text them and go, hey, this is today. This is this morning. And they can see that, but they also have that connection with me that we have just made, that it's not just sending it out to everybody. It's just to that individual and showing them what their donation did and being able to report back and continue to report back.
And so much of that is in her head. Okay. And she runs this thing, and she knows, she'll see a child's picture. Oh, that's On. Yeah, an On sponsor is Lindsay. On Lindsay, and she connects those things up. And like I said, we're sitting there watching a football game or something on the channel. Next, Lindsay's got a picture of On sitting there with her Christmas bag, and you're like, so it's touching, and it is a text. And it's personalized touching, and I'm seeing my child. And that's, but again, it's your circle of friends. It's the people who go. Our son named the trips. He couldn't describe what it was like. And he finally just go. And so you go, and, we come back, and a woman who'd never been to Haiti, 80 years old, never would go to Haiti. She goes, I think I want to buy y'all a school bus, and so she bought the school bus. We picked it up. Our partner picked it up in Miami, put it on a ship, filled it up with supplies, drove it out to Haiti. It's still there. It's 10 years old, and that thing is still going. And it was old when we got it.
I started to put pictures on here, screenshots of FaceTime, because we found out you can get down there with the child and FaceTime their sponsor, somebody that'll never come to Haiti, but then it's going to, and the amount of joy that each one of them has is off the charts, because it is so personal. It is that relationship.
Great cell phone signals.
It is now $55 a month. It started out $45, but and for that, then you get, we say you get a picture every year. If we have a team, then something goes back and forth, the cards and whatever, but we hadn't been able to send teams.
So do people typically do that long term? I mean, I would think that'd be something, if I started, I would do it till.
Yeah, I mean, we do a year commitment at a time, and I never, you hate to ask somebody and then go like, well, you're going to do this for the rest of your life. It's a year commitment, and we say renew it. We say it's time to renew. If you can't, let us know so we can get somebody else. We rarely have people that don't, but sometimes it's like my circumstances have changed. And then like with the school for a year, that $250, that's strictly just one time through the Christmas catalog. And then a lot of people want to do it again the next year and do it for the same child, which is great. It's awesome, but we just really are doing it on a year-to-year basis.
And Haiti is such an interesting place to do any type of work, ministry or business or whatever it is, and because nothing stays the same and nothing is easy. And it seems like it's a magnet for natural disasters. I don't know. It's just
earthquakes and hurricanes.
It's just, but in one of the things that we get through the Christmas catalog, one of the categories is to the greatest need, and blank, put any amount you want to in there. And it gives us, we call it dry powder. And we'll get into a year, and I don't know what's going to happen in 2025.
And we got
something.
Nothing given like that.
And we've got it, and we say, yeah, we've got an emergency, we need this. And yeah, we can send you $5,000 for, or whatever the need might be, and the money's there. So.
One of my big problem is I give out a lot of food and clothing, but I don't take pictures of those because I'm saying that I don't want to embarrass the people that I'm giving to.
Huh.
And then people are asking me for photos. I will take photos of me giving out the backpacks and building the houses. But I just feel.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way about taking a picture of me giving out food and clothing.
Well, like in Haiti, we would never just take a picture of somebody on the side of the road or something, and we always ask. But Carrie, our photographer, does a great job, and he goes and asks, is it all right if I take your picture? Because like right now, we have some families that need homes. And I said, I need a picture, because if I have a picture of those people in front of that house that is not a house, or a video of them living under 2 tarps with these little children, it's a lot easier to get somebody to go, oh my, so maybe there is a way to get some pictures of if you know them or something, because I'm telling you, a picture, it's worth 1,000 words. If people, when they see it,
Houses for single mom with kids.
Yeah.
And the first one I built, my just seen Leo, that boy was working like this. He put me to shame. Leo was swinging buckets like this.
Yeah. Oh, I can picture that.
While
Yeah.
I'm swinging one bucket, he's swinging 2.
Of course.
So I build houses for single mothers.
Right.
With kids. Right. Some dudes say, hey, I got kids too. I said, nah, brother, you
Right. That's what we do, widows mostly.
Yeah, and so much of what we do is anonymous. Some of the donors that give the large gifts that from the very beginning, like, I don't want any credit for this gift. I want God to get the glory. And, a widow gets a house. There's not a picture of some nice, clean American handing her the keys to her house going, look what I did for her. It's this grateful woman with her children standing under a dry roof going, thank you, Jesus.
And usually they're really tickled to have a picture, because then he prints it and gives it to them. So they want a picture of themselves with their new house or their whatever it is, because they don't have pictures. They love getting pictures. So we always print a lot of pictures and take down with them. So I don't know, they might, if you did it, like if you built a house for one of those single moms, say, can we do a portrait of you and your family in front of your house? And they'd probably be thrilled. And you could bring them a little framed picture of it and they could put it in their house. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, part of it, when we first started going, they would go, no photos, no photos.
Right.
Right.
And we learned there was good people would come down there, take a photo, put it on Facebook, and never show up again. And the more we went and they realized we cared about them, then we were able to take the photo.
And that's the relationship right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to your
Well, I've
point.
been going 10 years, so they know I'm coming. Man.
Yeah. You know what? They'd probably all love a picture with you is what they'd really like, and get a picture of you and them. They'd probably love that.
Right.
Where are we going? What's the next activity?
There you go.
Anybody? Some of y'all do a great job on your website of having testimonies and stories. Anyway.
And if you don't have a website and I don't know how to do that, I said, she figured out how to do all of that herself. She taught herself. So it's
I need a new one.
she's
Don't go
smart,
look at
but
it.
she's of a certain age where it's like, you didn't learn all that in school. You didn't. And you didn't learn, how do I do all this
Yeah,
stuff?
I know,
She
right?
figured out how to do it.
Exactly.
I can say that.
Yeah, when
I'm
they blow
married
that
to her.
wrinkled picture up on that big screen, I'm like, whoa, God.
So yeah, if you can figure out a way to do it, and it matters. So.
And honestly, that matters in such a big way, because people don't necessarily give because there's a need, because if they did, we probably wouldn't have need.
Mm-hmm.
They give because how they can connect and how it makes them feel.
Mm-hmm.
So having what you're doing and having a visual so that people can connect is a key.
And
Absolutely.
proof that their gift got where it was intended to go. And it's like, I know it's getting there.
Are the
'cause
people
I
that do
see evidence
equine
of it.
therapy in here? Are the people that do equine therapy? I thought they signed up. Maybe they didn't come.
They didn't make it.
But some of like your website, some of them, when I looked at it, it's like, I went, oh my gosh, it made me want to like instantly cleaning houses for cancer patients. I was like, it's brilliant. Like, I love it. Anyway, you want to tell a story. You want to tell a story that grips somebody that doesn't know anything about it.
All right.
There you go.
We say thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Rylan.
I think y'all are hanging out for a few minutes with us. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to not fail to mention, Tanya reminded me again, is again, a big reason we get together is because we need y'all to network together, right? Like a lot of us share resources, share thoughts. We have problems, Manny, like someone else in the room has a similar problem with something else they're dealing with, right? And so you speaking out helps. Because someone else is thinking that same thing. We want y'all to connect. We want you to share your contact information. We're going to continue to do things like this with the hope that that inspires you to problem solve together. Most likely, many of the 10 years y'all have gone through different problems, even though it's in another country, still applies to something we got going on here, right? And yes, they have all kinds of challenges internationally, but there's very similar challenges here. And relationships is a big part of it. And there's a couple key takeaways. One of the things I wanted to share, and I thought about it as I was listening to y'all, you said, Ralph, keeping it simple. And I'm a big believer that in the business world, right? Like I want it easy to pay rent and easy to get into the place, right? Like those two things matter from a business side. And you know, if it's not easy for me to buy something, I'm probably not going to buy it. I'm going to go next door. There was a nonprofit I was trying to adopt a dog, and there was a nonprofit I was dealing with, and I practically begged to give them my money to adopt a dog. And my office heard this story because I whined about it for 2 weeks. It was probably a little bit longer than that. I tried for like 2 or 3 weeks to get this dog and never could get a response. And the end result, they had a poorly designed website, no communication, no response to anything. I ended up just going on Craigslist and finding a dog someone was giving away. And to me, that's a missed opportunity and kind of sad, right? Because it was a nonprofit that was in our community that had an opportunity to do what their mission was and their heart is. And it's not that they're a bad organization. What I was kind of reminded of in this conversation is sometimes our passion, our desire needs a solution in order to get that message out. And I think that's really important, is how you connect what you're doing to others. And it's going to look a little different for everyone, but the relationship part of it's a big key. And I think that's critical to it. So I'm going to ask, I think, Leo to say a few words to kind of close this out, but we hope you stick around. I know he's like, man, I got to talk. But we do hope that you hang out with us for a few minutes and get to know each other, talk to each other. I believe y'all are going to hang out for just a minute or so and get to know them. So, Leo.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for all you do.
Well, I'm glad that picture's up. Some of you that don't know the story, that house is an actual house, and that's where my mom lived. And that's, one generation, you can make a difference. So it's not like about resources, because me and my wife get told all the time, it's like, well, if we had the resources you guys do, we'd be doing the same thing. Well, the answer is always the same with me. It's like, no, you wouldn't, because if you're not doing it with $1 or $10, you're not going to do it when you get more resources. Because thank God Manny's here, because some of the people that have known me for a long time, Miss Silverrick's here. When we bought those first apartments, we didn't know what we were doing. She can attest to that. But we were doing the nonprofit stuff, even though it wasn't known. We've been doing the mission work for the longest time. It just takes time, and you have to be passionate about what you're doing, and it'll come to pass. But nobody, you can't expect it to succeed if you don't wake up thinking, breathing, and being all in. Because you can't expect other people to give you money if you're not going to be passionate. The relationship part is really, really important. I always stress in business, it's relationships. It's no different in the nonprofit world. If you expect people to trust you, they have to know you. Because in business, they say people do business with their friends, and it's true in the nonprofit world. Because I think one of the best compliments I always get or questions is like, how do I maintain all these relationships that I have? And the answer always goes back to, well, they're genuine. You can't some relationships are meant to be for a season and some are meant to be forever. I'm stuck with Manny for the rest of my life, most likely. But he's been one of my best friends since the beginning and always believed in me. He went with me to Guatemala, no clue on what he was getting himself into, and it's flourished into a great friendship. And if he calls me and he needs something, I know it's genuine. I know where the money's going, and it's easy to get buy-in like that. So I would just stress the organic relationships and not have them be fake, like social media type relationships. Everybody has thousands of friends on social media. Well, the real friends are the ones that you can put organic, like eyes on, phone call. What you guys do with the Christmas catalog is so key. If you're a close friend of ours, that's what you get for Christmas from us. You get a sponsorship, and Lily will tell you, when we did that, almost everybody that we sent a card to had a reply that it was like, this is one of the best Christmas gifts that we've ever received. And then some of them want to continue doing it on their own. So thank you guys. We really appreciate you guys coming. We hope to do this again. Thank you guys for coming. These things, this is how you get ahead in life. We do book clubs for business, and we're going to do these events. Networking is key. With the people that don't show up and then wonder why things aren't progressing, it doesn't happen overnight, and there's not one big aha, I got it figured out. It's just going to come in increments, and it's just the ones that grind it out the most are usually the ones that succeed in life. So we encourage you guys, and thank you. Please ask these guys all the questions. I'm sure they've gone through the struggle. So thank you again so much.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Well done.